How's it going, guys? MrHulthen here. And today I want to ask a very curious question. Is it possible that the next playable character for Mass Effect 4 or 5 will be neither Shepard nor Ryder, or a new protagonist altogether, but rather someone who we have met before? Someone that's entirely unexpected. Are you confused? Well, let me explain. Throughout the Mass Effect trilogy, we journey with Commander Shepard and follow him or her on a galaxy-spanning adventure in order to prepare the Milky Way galaxy for the coming Reaper invasion. As I've talked about in other videos, Shepard has obviously become an icon in the gaming world and the de facto universal brand for Mass Effect, partly because of the excellent voice acting by Mark Meer and Jennifer Hale, but also because of the excellent writing that propelled the narrative forward, as we, taking the role of Shepard, went from system to right wrongs across the galaxy. However, Shepard is quite obviously not the only character that people think of when you start talking about Mass Effect. Because what is Shepard and Mass Effect without the Normandy crew? The roster of squadmates is pretty huge throughout the Mass Effect trilogy, especially in Mass Effect 2, where we get the biggest roster of squadmates in any of the 3 games. But the most famous squadmates of them all are obviously the original ones, like Rex, Garrus, Tali, and the most prominent of them all, Liara T'Soni. Now, why I bring up Liara as the most prominent squadmate is because she's had a much bigger role in all 3 games compared to any other individual allied with Shepard. Starting with the fact that Liara is the only alien squadmate that's not optional to recruit in Mass Effect 1. No matter what, you can't skip on recruiting Liara to the Normandy crew, because in order to progress the story, you need to rescue her from the planet Therum so that she can help Shepard decode the Prothean vision.
Oh, Goddess, I am going to die here.
We're here to save your sorry ass, so snap out of it.
As we move towards Mass Effect 2, Liara is also instrumental to resurrecting Shepard after he or she gets destroyed by the Collectors. This is something that gets explored in the Mass Effect Redemption comic series. In the comics, Liara basically retrieves Shepard's body and agrees to let Cerberus work on resurrecting Shepard through the Lazarus Project. But not before she gets drawn into a conflict with a shadow broker who is trying to sell Shepard's body to the Collectors. And so, in the DLC Lair of the Shadow Broker, Shepard helps her out with taking down the shadow broker and saving her friend, Farron, which also results in Liara replacing the old broker, and so she becomes the single most powerful information broker in the entire galaxy, which again propels us towards Mass Effect 3, as she yet again proves to be vital in the role of fighting the Reapers, as it's thanks to Liara that plans for the Crucible can be retrieved on Mars, which subsequently opens up Shepard's audience with the Reaper Overlord, the Catalyst. All of this has resulted in Liara possibly becoming the second most iconic character in Mass Effect, because of how vital she is to the story of the original trilogy. Now, while it's apparent that Liara is a very important character, I still haven't talked about why she could possibly be the main character in the next game. I mean, as in the player character. Sorry, what now? I'm serious. This is a comment that I've seriously seen every now and then from several different people, that there is a realistic possibility that she might actually be the one we're going to play as in the next game. But how likely is this really? Well, let's dive deeper. The biggest reason to why I would imagine some of you think this could happen is probably because the next Mass Effect teaser trailer focuses on Liara rather heavily. This, and then possibly because it looks like she might be on the forefront of the squad right here that we see on the official poster released last year. Now, even if this is an interesting possibility that Liara could be the player character, there are a few obvious obstacles to this theory. First off, Liara is a pre-made character with a pretty wide background, which is the complete opposite of the age-old tradition of playing as a custom-made character, which is something BioWare has done with basically every game they've ever made. When people are used to creating their own custom versions of Shepard, or hell, even Ryder, it'd be really strange if we were suddenly thrown for a loop and get put in the shoes of one of Shepard's possible romantic interests. Which segues into another problem with this theory. Liara, while being a monogendered Asari, is still considered female. Even if lots of fans undoubtedly love Liara, I don't think all of you would like to play as her. Hell, there are fans who downright despise and hate Liara for several different reasons. One being that BioWare made her role more important overall compared to the other members of the Normandy crew, that she was kind of shoved in our faces throughout all 3 games. And looking at my recent community upload, this comment right here basically spells out why a lot of people don't like her. And I just love the comment, I just find it so funny. Now, making Liara the player character could also be an issue for RPG fans, as putting us in control of Liara would make the next game less of a role-playing game and more of a fully fledged action-adventure game. And to be honest, it seems that most of you guys just want to continue your romance with her if Shepard survived the ending of Mass Effect 3. I know I do, but I don't necessarily want to play as her, even if I do love her as a character. One thing that I want to talk about, however, is if Liara turns out to be the player character, it's also possible that the next Mass Effect game won't necessarily start off a new trilogy, which I think most fans are expecting at this point. And what do I mean by that? Well, just look at another game series that BioWare is also responsible for, that being Dragon Age. Through all 3 Dragon Age games, we don't play as a singular protagonist. We first start off as the Grey Warden in Dragon Age Origins. We then get to play as Hawke in Dragon Age 2, and finally we take up the mantle as the Inquisitor in Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, their stories are interconnected one way or another, but fact remains that we play as different individuals in all 3 games. Now, what could be an interesting opportunity for BioWare here is if Liara would be the one we take control of in Mass Effect 4, we could again switch to someone else in the game after that. If we assume that the next game series will take place right after the Reaper War, that could mean that all our old squad mates are still alive, unless they died during the original trilogy, that is. And if that is the case, this could open the door for us being able to maybe control Garrus in Mass Effect 5, or hell, maybe even Tali in Mass Effect 6. Whoa, wait. That just sounds silly, right? Well, yeah, at first glance it kinda does. But BioWare could create something interesting out of this, maybe having these games take place at the same time, where the stories overlap between all 3 characters. Hell, imagine playing as Liara, then Garrus, and then Tali through different chapters in Mass Effect 4. And in the end, we see the return of Commander Shepard, who becomes the player character once again for future games. Now go check out the Frozen Shepard theory if you haven't, because if we were to play as our old squad mates in the next game, chances are that the story will be a search for Shepard kind of story, with us finding Shepard's frozen body at the end of the game. I gotta say that this idea had my head spinning, and as much fun as it is speculating, I just really don't think that this is super likely to happen, for all the reasons that I stated earlier. But thank you to all of you who suggested this to me. Who knows, maybe we'll see this as a spin-off type of deal. I'd pay for that. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. And as always, have a great day, guys. MrHulthen signing out.